The tenure of the fourth president in the Fourth Republic is over, and Nigerians are marking the scorecard of the Buhari presidency. So many persons have a lot to say as regarding what they've experienced in the last 8 years, from May 29, 2015 down to May 29, 2023. Security, economy, sports, agriculture, and a whole lot of other fields are being marked by Nigerians. We are on the streets of Lagos to speak with the people, asking them what they think about what they've experienced in the last 8 years.
He did a lot when it comes to infrastructures.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to rate this administration 1 over 10.
If you are following...
Good afternoon, everyone. You are welcome to another beautiful episode on the Roundtable. My name is Shegun Odwayo. You know how we do it here. We give you the very best updates as regards what is happening in the polity. And together with a team of wonderful analysts, we give you the analysis exactly as it should be, for and against, or against and for, regarding on what path you want to come at these matters from. Like I said earlier, my name is Shegun Odwayo. This is the Roundtable. This is our second edition since we restarted the show. And I have two wonderful guests with me this time, to my left and to my right. I have to my very left, Fateh Ahmed. Very welcome to you. Very good welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shegun. It's
Yeah.
a privilege being here this afternoon.
And on my right, I have one of our best hands here, one of our editors in the building, Samson Folarin. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Shegun. It's good to be on the show.
Exactly. And yeah, this beautiful afternoon, we'll be talking about the removal of fuel subsidy. This is, without any argument, the biggest, most controversial issue in Nigeria, the most populous black nation on planet Earth at the moment. Over 200 million Nigerians were surprised when the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the day of his inauguration on Monday, announced to the world fuel subsidy is gone. And everyone thought this was supposed to be out by June. However, as of yesterday, the 31st of May, there was a new information that was in circulation. These numbers were not exactly confirmed by the NNPC. However, the NNPC came out to say that there was a new style. Reports here and there, confirmations by media organizations, but as at now, it is official. Fuel subsidy is indeed gone. Let me start with you, Samson Folarin. People didn't see this coming so soon, because we have to be honest, the former government had said it was going to be gone. But the belief was that we were going to have it for at least another 30 days in June.
That's
but
correct.
Suddenly, bang, it is out. How do you feel about this?
I think my reaction is the reaction of everybody out there. It is that of shock. It is that of surprise. You know, for a new government, a new administration that is just coming in, people will expect to have some level of reassurance, especially knowing what Nigerians have gone through with the previous regime of Muhammadu Buhari. So people will expect some form of succor, you know, from the new president. But it was quite unfortunate that President Bola Tinubu decided to start on a very controversial note. And I must also say that it was an unnecessary situation, in the sense that the president's remark put a shock into the system. You know, the president went off speech. He was not reading the speech. He was very direct, like the fuel subsidy is gone. You understand? So, and as of that time, the filling stations were still dispensing at the normal rate of 185. People were still buying. There was no problem. People didn't see it coming. But, you know, the emphasis with which he made the pronouncements, like the fuel subsidy is gone, it was like he knew what was coming. You know, unfortunately, Nigerians were not prepared for it. He knew what was coming. And then he said fuel subsidy was gone, and immediately the fuel stations stopped selling. Even when they had old stock. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So it was quite unfortunate. It was not necessary. Right now, you know, there is tension in the system. People are angry. People are surprised. And, you know, looking at the whole election process and the way Mr. Tinubu came into government, you will expect him to, you know, to give succor to the people. But it was quite unfortunate, and it was unnecessary. I consider the speech, the statement, as ill-advised. And unnecessary.
All right, very quickly, Ahmed Fateh. Now the question is this: we always knew it was going to happen.
Of course.
Was going to happen.
It was going to
The manner in which it was going to happen was what we were not necessarily clear about. However, do you think it is good that we're having this shock at the beginning? I mean, there's never, like they do say, that canalists have been saying, there's never a good time to remove subsidy. But now that hoarding came about, and then almost immediately the federal government responded by removing subsidy, and they will not even be paying the 2.8 trillion for June. Is this good news that they responded in that manner? Do you think they should have met and settled the issues with NLC?
I must be honest with you. I believe strongly that when they tell you that someone eats the ground running, that is the example that President Bola Tinubu has just showed to the world. Before the past administration left office, we had been pre-informed. We had been briefed. In fact, in the 2023 budget, the subsidy was not there.
Yeah.
Which means that there is already a plan on ground to enforce this. Now, we must be honest with ourselves that there is no time that this policy will be implemented that Nigerians will not groan. Yes, we have to accept the fact that it was sudden, and probably we should have given it a bit of time, maybe a few days, but I feel like it was the most appropriate
because
time.
everything, you know what happens in Nigeria, once the price of fuel goes up,
everything becomes costly.
Fees, food, transport, everything.
Now, we have to ask ourselves, when the president made the remark on Monday, even filling stations who had fuels, subsidized fuels, sold for outrageous amount of money, even 700 naira.
Exactly.
In some places in the country. Now, you would agree with me that it is the greed of our fellow Nigerians. That is what's it called? That is
the question is the response of the federal government by immediately cancelling for June, immediately, because the statement was released yesterday.
Of course.
That from yesterday, you will no longer, there was no subsidy for June.
For June,
I think it stopped ordering, but don't you think it was a big shock to many persons that are earning minimum wage?
Yeah, it is a big shock to everybody. I am as well affected, right? But we have to understand that if we want to take this country to the next level, if we want to really become pragmatic about certain things, then we have to take drastic decisions. Yes, these decisions will hurt us. Yes, but it is just a pain for a minimum time. And on a longer, longer look at it, we would see that we have more to benefit, because this subsidy is being a privilege to the rich. It doesn't give any advantage to the poor man out there.
Very quickly, I think the question now is, you're asking Nigerians to sit tight and get ready for the new normal. The question is, as the president started by announcing that the number of cars in the presidential
thank you, Shagun.
Don't you think that we should be having subsidy? The shockers should be coming from the president himself and his family, or from people at the top, reducing their own lifestyle as well?
Exactly, Shagun. One will expect that after making such an announcement that subsidy was going to be removed, that the president will also immediately, roll out measures to cushion the effect on the public, on the masses who are going to be on the receiving end. And like you stated rightly, he did not even mention, measures that he was going to take, to also be a part of the pain with Nigerians. And there's something I also need to quickly point out. The ruling class have taken Nigerians for granted. The same way when President Muhammadu Buhari came in and he shut the borders and he took all those decisions, and he was saying it was in the interest of the public. Just like Fatah said, let's bear it. We are going to just survive. No, it's not even about that. It is a psychological way of telling you that suffer now, you will enjoy later. But throughout the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerians enjoyed. We did not.
We have to ask ourselves.
What I'm trying to say is that they ask you to suffer now and enjoy later, but then you suffer all through. Why they ride, in their luxurious cars and, enjoy travels all over the world at the expense of the poor?
Something
So very, very quickly now, I think we should move it on to now the NNPC. Before the confirmation came out, the confirmation that indeed subsidy was going to be stopping for June.
Right.
Now you are telling Nigerians on the 31st of May that the new system for buying fuel, the new amount was going to begin on that same 31st of May. And the question is this, how logical is this? How logical is the fact that you are starting a policy, you are informing Nigerians on that very same day?
Again, there is no time that is right, and there is no time that is wrong. There is no day that this policy will be implemented that Nigerians will not cry, Nigerians will not groan.
And you don't think...
Personally, I'm affected. This is what I think.
It should land very quickly.
We've already known, like I said earlier, that this policy was going to be implemented. We should be expecting it already. We should be preparing for it.
Without questioning effects.
Exactly. Of course, we understand that this policy is going to take a lot of a big toll on a lot of us out there in the public, the masses, even right onto the very little things that we buy at supermarkets. Yes, we understand that these things will happen, but like you said, yes, it is to suffer for the meantime, but to enjoy in the long run. But I do not believe it's a psychological way of saying that we should suffer throughout the 8 years or throughout the 4 years of his tenure. I believe strongly that with the way the president has started, if you look at it, the President Muhammadu Buhari was much more concerned about, say, security when he got into power and agriculture. But this is a man that is coming from different angle. Now look at the money that we'll be using to subsidize fuel, about 2.7 trillion. That's meant to be paid this June. If that money is channeled into something else, then we are going to be having a way forward in the country. If it is channeled to our power, channeled to our education, let us look at it from the brighter side.
To this bus stop. Now the big question. The NNPC MD yesterday, Mr. Kyari, said 2.6 trillion naira, if no more, has been saved for the month of June. Apparently, they didn't even have the money that they were going to use to pay already, and that they were in debt for the monies they've been paying of subsidy from the beginning of the year up until now. The question is, how sure should Nigerians be that this 2.6, at least we have a number, we have a figure to this month now. We don't know what will happen in subsequent months, but how sure are we that these monies that have been saved now will be channeled into the society, will be channeled into infrastructure? How sure are we that it will not go the way of other funds?
That is the big question. That's a big question. You ask the masses to suffer in the name of saving for infrastructural projects, for to help boost the economy and all those other things that they tell us, the excuses they give us. But in the end, the money ends up being embezzled by the few political class who are sitting on the table, who are making the decisions. So you don't really get to see where the money goes into. Instead, they embezzle the money. So really, it's not about saving. It's about where does the money go and how does this money benefit the masses who you are taking the money from. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't just talk about savings. What about the people? What measures are you providing for them? This removal of fuel subsidy will affect the prices of food, of goods in the market. People are going to suffer for it. The man who owns a barbing salon and powers his business with generator will increase the price. How do you intend to solve that problem? So you need to look at the long run effect, the effect of these decisions on the people. I'm not just talking about savings, and then people don't really see the effect of the savings.
Very quickly now. Okay, it has happened. Subsidy removal has happened, and like the president said, it is gone. And indeed, it is gone. It is. Now, the question now is, how will Nigerians survive? We've in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, social media, traditional media, articles, opinions, it is from one lamentation
to the other.
Yeah. Now, multidimensional poverty is said to exist. Not said to exist because it exists.
It's existing
already. Yes. How will people who are already multidimensionally poor? What is the hope for these persons?
Well, at the moment, I believe strongly. I was discussing while on my way to the office today that the government at the moment needs to look towards the civil servants, look towards the minimum wage in the country at large. That is the first, the next thing rather that I'm expecting from the government at the moment. Yes.
Minimum wage.
Yes.
Very quickly, let me pass it across. When it's 30,000 naira now.
Yeah.
Let's say it increases to whatever it fixes it to. Won't that lead to inflation?
That's correct.
Where we have, I mean, everybody now knows, oh, they've increased their salaries. Oh, the market woman knows they've increased the salaries. The conductors know they've increased the salaries. The head teachers, the proprietresses, the proprietors, they know you guys are earning more. Inflation is definitely knocking on the door. Does that not look like we're opening door down? No. I'm passing the question across. Okay. Are we not opening our doors up to inflation?
Of course, there are no two ways about it. You know, when you decide to increase the salaries and then people have more money and all of that, there will be inflation. That is just a matter of cause and effect. You understand what I'm saying? But I think we should be looking at how to really help the people cope with the situation.
How?
That is, if the government stubbornly decides to go on with what is on ground. I have a contrary opinion on this matter. The first thing I think is for the government to resign this decision. This is not going to work. There should be a phased removal of the subsidy. Not the effect is going to be it's going to be set up.
Some analysts have said that in the past the phased removal have always not worked.
It doesn't work.
It can work.
If it can work.
Remember, if this continues, because it's just a matter of days. It's just a matter of days. People will not be able to. There's tension in the system. Hold on, there's tension in the system.
Okay.
People are hungry. Many people cannot afford, to go to work. People are stranded at the bus stops. The transport fares have tripled. You know what I'm saying? Citing a personal example, on a good day, if I want to, for a week, maybe I'm preparing for work, I fill my car tank with maybe 12,000 naira. Now to fill my fuel tank, I have to spend 35,000 naira. Tell me how that will work. That means in a month I'll be spending, that's 140,000.
In a month.
In a month. How much is my salary? So really, the effect is still on the way. People will start feeling this in a matter of days when the prices of goods and services will increase, will skyrocket. So I am not sure we have a government that is ready to handle the backlash. Because, people are still trying to understand what is going on, trying to understand the situation. But in a matter of days, people will not be able to bear it again. People will go out on the streets to protest. And don't forget, we just survived NSAS. Don't forget, January 1, we had the protest, the Occupy Lagos, over subsidy removal, just because that government increased, in 2012, increased the price of fuel from 65 naira to 141.
At the time.
The 141. Yeah. And we all can remember what happened.
Okay, so
with this, the government should reverse itself. Okay. To reverse itself and look and consult widely with stakeholders. The NLC, the TUC, they have rejected this decision because it's too sudden and there was no wild consultation with stakeholders. So it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I would have loved the President Bola Tinubu to allow what the previous administration started to run its full course. The subsidy regime was supposed to run till the end of June. Yeah. So why are you in a haste? Why not allow it, especially for your own peace? As a new government, this government is going to be remembered for starting a war. The very first statement of the president, it was a declaration of war. Gone. Exactly.
So now to you, what are the solutions to these multidimensionally poor Nigerians and other Nigerians who are not multidimensionally poor like you? How can this government cushion the effects? Because right now, like he said, there's crisis on ground. It is clear, crystal clear.
Shegun, let me borrow the word of the former governor of the CBN and the former emir of Kano, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi. He said, if there is anyone who comes out to say that it will be easy to Nigerians, then a Nigerian should never vote for the person. Because it is not easy with the number of debts that we've acquired over the years as a country. The debt servicing and all of, what's it called?
Now, the solution to this crisis.
Yeah,
what can the government
I've said it earlier. Because the persons out there, the regular people out there are being fed with what people like you and me go out there to get from them. That's one thing that is the economy of money out there. How money circulates. Now, when someone like me, you, Samson, gets enough for ourselves, then we will be able to push out, because when we don't have, we won't be able to push out. So when we have, we will be able to push out. That is where there must be an increase. In fact, not a little increase.
Now,
we are looking at about 100 or 200% increase.
Now, what can
in what we currently have
what can
as the minimum wage in the country?
What can the
because there is no way the federal government would come down from where they are to give a solution down to the downtrodden people on the streets.
Okay, so you're saying the federal government has no solution for the people?
No, I'm not saying they don't have a direct solution for them. I'm saying that the solution is not direct.
So what is the solution?
The first policy implementation is to ensure that the minimum wage is increased. Everybody out there have salaries. Yes, I know the fact that you are afraid that we might have inflation here. Then that comes to the greed of our people.
My question is,
that comes to the greed of our people.
We have 200 million people in Nigeria.
Of course.
We don't. I mean, what is the percentage of people that work with the federal government?
Not the federal government. When the minimum wage is increased, even the private companies in the country have to abide by it. It's a base rule.
We all know
it's a country.
We all know our labor laws,
right?
And we all know that some state governments, as at now, are not paying minimum wage.
Of course.
Now, if state governments are not paying 30,000 naira minimum wage, and they've come out to say that they have debt services,
they cannot afford it.
They can't afford it. Their expenditure is far higher than their income, their IGR, on 30,000 naira. Now here comes subsidy removal. Now you are proposing increment in salaries, and it has not been paid. Now I'm building the question: if all this is still on ground, problems are on ground, how do we build? By adding other problems to it.
Then why do we have the House of Assembly? Why do we have the National Assembly? Why are they existential when they can't tackle a problem? I said it last time when we were having a conversation about the entire non-payment of minimum wage by some states. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, because it is nonsensical for a state to decide that it is going to go against the laws. Yes, that is why the National Assembly has to come in.
How much more private organizations?
Policies has to be implemented. We have to have a sort of a committee or like a setup by the government where states are reported, where companies are taking a query.
The real question we should be asking is, it's not about minimum wage. We should be talking about living wage.
That's what we are saying. Policies that can
work
to mitigate this problem.
Yes, how much will the average civil servant earn to cope with what has just happened?
School fees.
How much to pay for school fees, to pay for house rent, to pay all other utility bills? And then, like you said, some states are not paying. So, in other words, even if we decide that let's increase the minimum wage because of the situation, and really, the federal government increased the salaries of federal workers just recently, I think.
Yeah.
I think. So, I think it's also in preparation for what is coming, because they knew what they were going to do. You understand what I'm saying? But the people cannot survive on minimum wage alone. Now, you need to look at how people will survive.
A quick question now to Fatih. Did the Buhari government set up the new government to fail? The Buhari government was there for 8 years. Well, they rescinded, they faced, it came back to normal. Somehow corruption was winning the war. Did they set up this government to fail?
Well, I wouldn't say that they set them up to fail, but I would borrow the words of the President, Bola Tinubu. He said, we should not give him excuses. He's sought to become the president, then he should find a solution.
Of course. To
the problems. He said we shouldn't give him excuses. So we shouldn't expect the least from him. We should expect him. He has come to say that he is the perfect man for the job. He's the one that would sail the boat of Nigeria to the destined, what's it called? Let him kick to action. Because at the moment, we have an issue that is catastrophic. A very terrible issue which goes down to even a day-old baby would feel it. A 2-day-old will feel it in the country. Now, we have to understand that this country is not a country that became what it is suddenly. It is the accumulation of several problems by several leaders over the years.
All right.
Not Buhari,
Alright.
not Jonathan,
Alright.
not
Yar'Adua.
no Yar'Adua, no Obasanjo. It has over time, the problems continues to compound. And
Right.
we-
Thank you very much. If you are just joining us, we are still on the round table. It's heated right here in the studio. I can't feel the cold because of how heated it has been. But it is not as good as it sounded in the studio out there, because you can see videos of people who have beaten themselves up at fuel stations on social media. You can see rants everywhere on social media. People are angry. You can smell the tension in the air already. Many women, many men, market officials, market men. And in a matter of days, like one of my guests said, in a matter of days, the reality will be biting hard on Nigerians. It looks like we are still in the honeymoon stage now, but I can't really see too much honey, and neither can we see the moon, because it's almost close to pitch dark in the country at the moment. Everybody's talking about the future, but as it stands in the present, if we are being honest, many persons are angry. Bus fares have sporadically increased, except you do not go out. So even if you have neighbors, if you have family members, a few calls here and there, you'll be feeling what it feels like to be living on the streets of Nigeria. From Damaturu to Yobe, then Yobe to Jos in Plateau State, to Osogbo in Osun State, to Abeokuta in Ogun State, Ikeja in Lagos. There is so much anger and tension in the air. We'll be moving over to another topic, very, very important topic, because we'll be looking at it from both sides, from both ends. We'll be talking about the late Timothy Adegoke, whose death was in controversial circumstances. Of course, we all know that all man will definitely die, but it depends on what and how the death did come about. Timothy Adegoke was a student, or was it, the late Timothy Adegoke, I beg your pardon, was a student of the Obafemi Awolowo University, a postgraduate student who left his home for school. Actually, it was the exam period. Unfortunately, he never went back home. We all know what happened, but if you do not know, we tell you that he went to school. He was lodging in a hotel in preparation for his exams. All through, he was communicating with his wife up until he left the airport, up until when he got to Akure, from Akure down to Ife. From Ife, he lodged in the hotel. And that was when his wife discovered that he was no longer picking his calls. He said he wanted to get some rest by sleeping. The long and short of the story is that the owners of the hotel eventually murdered the man, and his family came up to speak, and that whole case was controversial and all. But now the end of the case has come. The owner of the hotel was sentenced to death. Let me start with something. I think we should start from communication before we go into the deep of this issue. What saved this man, what brought justice for him, was that he was communicating with his wife.
That's correct.
From the very beginning.
That is very correct.
Now, we have many homes in Nigeria where the couples do not have this proper communication. Some men and women don't even trust each other in the homes. How has this taught us about communication?
It's, communication is very important, and that's one beautiful thing I like about this case, because it's interesting to note that the owners of the hotel, the workers in the hotel, they try to cover up that Timothy never visited the hotel. They did not receive him. They tried to change, their login details and every other thing. But what saved the day was the fact that the man was communicating with his wife. So his wife knew his movements. His wife knew this was the last place my husband told me that he was at. So it really shows how important it is for us to always communicate with our loved ones, no matter the issues, no matter the disagreements we may have. Let your loved ones, let them know where you are. Even if you are fighting with people, or you're fighting with your wife, or you're fighting with your husband, let them know your whereabouts. Because if late Timothy did not inform his wife that he was at that hotel, he would have been gone forever. Nobody would have been able to trace him. The guy was killed in a gruesome manner, and his corpse was disposed, in the bush. But, the fact that he was communicating with his wife gave the police something to work with. And then eventually they found his corpse. So it's justice for the family, and the lesson for us like you said, is the fact that we need to continue to communicate with our loved ones. It's very important.
Fatih, very quickly, the Nigerian police have always been bashed right, left, and center, social media, offline. Do you think they did a fantastic job on that unraveling?
To start with, I would not give a lot of kudos to Nigerian police because they are doing their job. We have to be realistic with ourselves.
But when they don't do it or they seem not to be doing it well, we attack. So
yeah, we have to remind them of what their job is. And yes, when they do their job, well, we can thumbs them up, but not give them what's it called? Not get into their head and they start feeling like they've done something extraordinary. In this case, I would thank journalism more than anything, because we wouldn't even know about the case if it wasn't aired live on the radio. If I could remember a radio station in Ibadan, I think Agidigbo FM or something, was the one that took up the case then. So airing it, then gave it a wider attention, became a national issue. If I could remember, even the broadcaster that was the issue at the time was threatened by DSS. He was picked from Ibadan. They took a victim away from Ibadan to Abuja.
That's correct.
He was molested. He was harassed. Then we should give kudos to journalism. That tells us that this society, I said it yesterday, will continue to need journalists to keep the society sane. We are very important in the society that we have today, because if journalism wasn't there, it wouldn't have been exposed. The judges in the court, they're also regular citizens like us. They watch the TV, they listen to radio, they read newspapers, they see what is there. They read people's opinions about this thing. Of course, it will definitely affect, what's it called? Their own sense of reasoning and the way they would look at the case in its entirety. So even the police that have done a fantastic job, like we've said, definitely got leads from what this journalist did while working on the case.
Very quickly, this manner of disappearance was strange. It didn't look like it was a first-time thing. Only God knows how many persons have probably disappeared in that manner. Now the question is, that happened in Ife. Is there a possibility that this is a big case in the country and there are certain other persons who have not been discovered? Because this person we are talking about is not just a random person. He's supposed to be one of the elites in the society.
He was a breadwinner of his family.
A ringleader in making people disappear. So who knows if it happens in hotels in Lagos, in Abuja, people who just declare missing on social media, and that was the case. Is there a possibility that there's something like this happening on a big scale?
Of course, it's very, very possible. It's very possible because of the way and manner the owners of the hotel, colluded with the workers to hide the incident, including forcing them to swear under oath, just to make sure that it remains a secret. So it's very possible that things like this are happening all over the country, especially with the high rate of disappearance of people. This person has gone missing, this person went somewhere and then is no longer seen. There are many cases like that. So I think it is important for the police to increase their supervisions of the hospitality industry and the hotels, within their vicinity. But the challenge we also have is that the police have been compromised. Recently I did a case, I did a story, and the information, the feedback I got was that the particular hotel involved was paying the police in that area. So it's not peculiar to that story. So it's widespread. Many of these hotels, they pay monthly dues to the DPO, to the CBs, as alleged. As alleged. So it becomes difficult for the police to do their job as it should be done. People are dying in hotels. People are dying mysteriously in hotels, and they will hide it, they will cover it. People will not know. You understand? So it's a big problem. I think the solution, like we stated when we started this discussion is the need for people to increase their communication with their loved ones. Once you communicate, once you tell your loved ones, this is where I am, they will know where to, where to look at if you go missing. You understand? So it's a widespread thing.
Lastly, before we close on this particular topic, how do we curb such from happening in the future? Because this was just a young man who was going to school to get his MBA. I mean, to probably get life better for his family. It's not like he's trying to, to probably try to make life better for his family. His mother was saying that he was their breadwinner, his wife, his younger ones, and this is Africa, this is Nigeria. One man's salary is not the man's salary. In fact, the man may not even spend 30% of the money.
Even 20%.
It's always for one or two. So how can we stop things like this? So that was ritual killing. They said it was organ harvesting. The man was buried in the compound of the killer, according to reports. So how can we stop things like this from happening?
I think that Nigeria as a country, we have gotten so disorganized that people, because when we look at this case, we would realize that why is the need to do a ritual killing? Why are they doing organ harvesting? It's for money. It is because we do not have a country that is meant to run the way it is meant to run. Then we have to look back at the greed of people. Then go back to our homes. Right from where people are taught, when people are brought up, which kind of family, which kind of environment are we building? When people say that this person is a fraudster, but some people in the area know that this person is a fraudster,
are they exposing this person?
We are keeping these things to ourselves. I must be sincere with you. There is a trend in South Africa at the moment, even though I would largely not agree with some of the things they do. An individual, a citizen of South Africa, decided to expose drug dealers in South Africa. Then he went on social media using a TV channel where people start reporting that, they sell cocaine here in this area. This is the person that sells it. Then the person gets information, put together a team of volunteers, then busts the person's house. That is a move towards a progressive community, towards a saner community. It is our collective responsibility, our collective duty as citizens of Nigeria to ensure to keep the country safe.
But then again, the fear becomes, how sure are you that the security agencies you are reporting to are not giving the information back to these persons who have the duty of doing this?
That is why I'm saying that
I think we'll just be praying. I mean, of course, people will probably say we don't get tired of praying in this country. We'll walk, but we'll also pray, because what if the hunter, the you who is trying to be the good person in society,
yes,
and you do not really know much about
exactly things. But I also think we should give kudos to the Osun State, the Chief Judge Adipele Ojo, who had the courage, to go ahead with the sentencing. You cannot imagine what amount of pressure and intimidation and threats that she has
if a journalist that is broadcasting the story could be intimidated by the DSS.
Exactly.
They picked him up.
Exactly.
If it could be done, that could be done to a journalist, then God knows whatever would have.
Exactly. So I'm sure the judge must have faced a lot of threats and intimidation. Because this person we're talking about is a very powerful socialite.
Businessman. Started to one time be in the race to become
the Oni of Ife.
Exactly. So it's a very powerful figure.
He was in line.
But the chief judge had the courage to go out with the sentencing.
There was even a time the man came at a time to say that the former Oni of Ife, Obasijo Ade, pointed at him that he will be the next Oni of Ife at the time.
You can imagine that.
It's a crazy thing.
It's sad that that is happening in our society, but we can only be glad that justice indeed has come to stay. Of course, you know that nobody eventually gets killed because the case will definitely still be appealed, and according to the Nigerian laws, once it gets to the level of the Supreme Court, that is only when the governor of the state can sign for the death to indeed happen. So I think there's still quite some time between now and the appeal and the further appeal, and it's getting to the Supreme Court and then back. But very quickly, we'll be touching on one very important topic that caused a lot of uproar this morning in the economic sector, and of course in the FX sector. There was strong news this morning that the Central Bank of Nigeria, and of course that is not possible except with the order or the discussion with the federal government, had come out to say that the naira was being devalued and that it was going to increase from 436 naira to about 635 or 36 naira. Yes. Of course, the CBN came out a few hours after that news went viral that it wasn't true, and that the INE traded on the INE yesterday for 465 naira, and that was not the case. But what is interesting is that between when that news went viral and when the CBN reacted, the dollar on black market came crumbling. From yesterday, we saw that it was about 765. It went down to as low as 745 naira yesterday. But as of today, while that information came out and it was going viral, it reduced up to about 720, 725. At a point, it went down that I saw to 705. But when the information from the CBN came out to say that was not true, it went back to about 736 naira.
It's now 745.
And just before we started the show,
yes,
it was 745 naira. Let me start with you, Fatih, because you are in the economics of in this business. Is this the way to go? Not devalue now? The president made a statement on Monday that said he was going to float the naira, but I think that was what led to all this rumor, because the CBN have come out to say it's not true. But look at what happened. They said, according to the information, they were going to put naira on the same level. They are going to
both the official rate and the black
at the black market. So it's going to be at par, and everybody who needs FX will get FX. There will be no round tripping. There will be no games that comes with that system. A lot of persons did not understand what was going on. They only knew that dollar was going down. What do you have to say about this?
Well, again, I would say that it's another step in the right direction for Nigeria as a country. Now, a lot of people who are common people might not understand the implications of what is happening. But let me give an insight, right? For someone who has about $1 million, for a Nigerian elite who has $1 million in his own account, has access to FX, right? Because me and you, we don't have that access to that huge amount of money. Now, I can easily go to the bank as an elite of the society with about 460 million, then get $1 million from the bank. That is 460 million naira. Then I'll give that to the bank, and the bank gives me $1 million. Then I would go to the black market, then sell for 750. I don't
want us to touch round tripping yet. I just want us to touch on the information that
yes, I'm going to get there.
And then all of a sudden, the naira was,
I'm going to get there. I'm using that to build up so that our people at home can understand what is really going on. Then someone like that will take that $1 million, then go to the black market, then sell for 750
at the black market
the black market level. Then that person money shoots to 750 million.
You made millions.
Now you used 460 million to make 750 million. That is about 290 million, if I'm not wrong, in profit without doing nothing. That is what the problem is, and the president is saying that.
No. Like I said, it wasn't confirmed.
The president said it on Monday.
Yes, during the speech.
That is going to float the naira,
of course, yes,
and make it on par.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the president is coming out to say that this is what he plans to do. So if the rumor came out this morning that the official rate has been devalued down to 630 naira, right? Then I strongly think that it didn't just happen. Yes, the CBN has said that it wasn't true, and it has the market will be affected. When I woke up this morning,
the market was affected.
I saw a lot of people lost millions.
Let me quickly move over to him. Many Nigerians on social media this day, in the early hours of this morning, were angry that the dollar was going down. These are Nigerians that want a better Nigerian quotes. These are Nigerians that complain when there are issues. But the dollar was going down and the naira was appreciating, and Nigerians were hungry. Do Nigerians really want a better Nigeria?
That is a question to ask. I think it's obvious that we have a lot of Nigerians who are keeping the dollars with the hope that the value will continue to rise against the naira. It's like saying one thing and then acting the other way. The direct opposite. That is what a lot of Nigerians are doing. A lot of people are keeping the dollars. That's okay. Watching the rate every day and hoping that it will continue to increase. Many Nigerians are hoping that the dollar naira exchange rate will get to 1,000 naira.
And they want a better Nigeria.
And they want a better Nigeria. It's just the irony of it all. But my take on this is that it is not sustainable for us to have all these multiple rates as it were. It's not possible. So I completely support the president, in that speech when he said that he was just going to make sure that the disparity is gone. So because we cannot continue to have a different rate for those going for religious travels. You understand what I'm saying? And then those doing manufacturing, and then the international students. You have multiple rates in the market, and it's encouraging corruption.
Exactly.
It's affecting our economy. You understand?
Let's talk about round tripping now. Where like the example you gave, like Mr. A goes to get $1 million.
Yes.
You come into the market.
Yes.
You push them out. You push these monies out to your BDC boys. By 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. your BDC boys revert. In a couple of hours, when people are under the sun, you have made millions
of money of
naira. That deal for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, even, let's say 3 weeks. You are getting billions. How do you think this is going to stop?
You see, this is a systemic problem. It's a systemic problem that, the banks are also involved in it.
Because they will call somebody outside for you.
The people they also give these dollars to, they are people they know.
Yes.
The managers benefits. You understand? So it's a systemic problem. They know they keep these dollars for their own people who come and then they share the profits. You understand? So the Central Bank of Nigeria has a lot to do, in tackling this problem, starting with the banks. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's just the problem. The banks are suspect. Yes, they are suspects.
Very quickly, do you think the Japa, I mean, people trying to emigrate, do you think if this happens, where the naira is being floated, everything is on the same level, when you who is in the rain somewhere in one country sweeping or acting as security guard is getting almost the same money from the same from the organization you left in Nigeria, and you see that the 500 naira difference is not there again, it's about 100 naira, 150. Do you think it will encourage a couple of Nigerians to come back to the country?
Well, I do not agree with that. Okay. We have to look at it from different perspectives. Now, the minimum wage in Canada is about, I don't know the percentage, but the difference, there was a time we calculated this, to what we have in Nigeria is a lot. I think it's about $16 per Canadian dollar per hour or something. Now, if you calculate what 30,000 naira is in dollars compared to that, so it's different.
That's now. I'm saying
what I would say that there will be problems for those who want to leave the country.
I mean, those who want to come back to the country. Say the disparity goes away.
Yes,
and then you are saying that the amount you are earning over there, that you are sending back
that
to
will
Nigeria,
happen.
That looks huge.
That will happen.
That huge factor goes away because
that will happen.
It drops down to 400, for example, or 500.
Well,
I think
maybe at the long run, maybe we are looking at.
I think it's not that simple. It's not that simple.
It's not.
Because if presently the dollar exchange rate, the dollar naira exchange rate, at the black market is over 700 naira, and then maybe the government decides to devalue and then put the exchange the rates, at par. It doesn't mean that we have people come back and then the rates will drop. No, it's not going to work.
The only time we can have such a thing where people would say, okay, they want to come back, is when we have $1 to a naira to be at the same time. $1 to 1 naira. But if we still have that huge distance, I mean, 700 and something naira to $1. No.
All right. It has been a very wonderful time in the studio here with my amazing guests. Of course, you know that we've been having a very wonderful time on the show. We've talked about everything that is happening in the polity, strong topical matters in the polity at the moment, from fuel subsidy to the sentence to death of the murderer of the late Mr. Timothy Adegoke, a student of Obafemi Awolowo University postgraduate studies, up until the information that was everywhere in the morning about the fact that the naira was devalued before it was denied by the Central Bank of Nigeria. A release from the Central Bank of Nigeria denied that story. Of course, in coming days or in coming hours, who knows, we'll be getting more updates as regards that, because, hey, was that smoke that is probably giving us an information into what is to happen in the future. Whatever the case may be, we hope that Nigerians, wherever you are, you stay calm, stay out of trouble. We all know that at this moment, the fuel problem is a big problem to many persons, but we are urging you to remain law-abiding and stay out of trouble. My name is Sheikh Gondwan, and on behalf of my guests, I'm saying thank you very much for being a part of the Roundtable. Join us same time next week, Thursday, when we'll be coming to you again with the hottest topics in the polity. The guys behind the console deserve some kudos. Femi Daudu, Sulaiman Adeni, Olabode, Olalekan. Thank you very much to these persons, my powerful super duper producer, director, and the man staring at me right at the moment telling me it's time to go. On behalf of everybody and the guys in the studio, I'm Sheikh Gondwan, I'm saying bye for now.
Ọkọ mi jẹ́ ọkùnrin oníwà tútù, kò ń rìn di òru, kò ń mutí, kò síbi tí ọkọ mi fẹ́ lọ tí kò ń jẹ́ kí n gbọ́. Ìgbà tó dẹ̀ fẹ́ lọ ṣe MBA wọn, òun ní ọjọ́ yẹn. Wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ lọ sí first weekend, second weekend. So ìgbà tó jẹ́ ọkùnrin tí kò ń wúwàkuwà, mi ń tọpinpin ọkọ mi. Tó bá ti ń lọ ibi tó bá ti ń lọ báyìí ni wọ́n ti máa sọ àwọn ti dé bí àwọn ti dé bí. Ìgbà tó dé Ifẹ̀ wọ́n ní àwọn ti dé Òǹtẹ̀, which is on the 5 níjọ́ Friday yẹn. Wọ́n ṣe dé Òǹtẹ̀ yẹn wá ní pé ṣé mo mọ̀ pé stress yẹn pé ó pọ̀ pé àwọn fẹ́ rest torí ó jẹ́ èèyàn kan tó jẹ́ wípé mo ti mọ ọkọ mi in term of education ọkọ mi ò fi ń ṣeré. So bọ́dẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kìíní bá wọn ní wò ó jẹ́ kí n rest pé tí n bá ti rest kí n jí nìkan bíi 12 pé káwọn fi kàwé táwọn bá jí lóru mọ́ nǹkan tó fi jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀ lọ́jọ́ yẹn nìyẹn. So nígbà tó dijọ́ Saturday mo wá wò pé àárọ̀ báyìí mi ì fẹ́ pé wọn kì í má distract wọn because mi mọ̀ bóyá wọ́n ń kàwé kó má lọ jẹ́ pé kọ́ mi máa distract wọn. So mo wá rí i pé àwọn ọmọ mi wá ń fi fóònù mi wo cartoon. Bí mo ṣe wá gba fóònù mi lọ́wọ́ wọn mo kàn wá kọ́ ni. Bí mo ṣe wá ń kọ́ nọ́mbà ò lọ́kọ́ mi dẹ̀ ní mi ń pè lẹ́ẹ̀mejì tó máa fi ń píìkì kọ́ mi. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? So due to insecurity of Nigeria, so mo ti ń rò pé àbí wọ́n ti kidnap ọkọ mi ni. Ẹ̀rù ṣá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bá mi. Mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sunkún pa nǹkan tí ò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. Mo wá ń pe nọ́mbà wọn yẹn títí bó ṣe di òru. Àbúrò wọn kan wà tó ń serve ní Òṣogbo. Mo wá ní kí ni distance Ifẹ̀ sí Òṣogbo. Wọ́n ní kò ju 2 or 1 hours lọ. Mo ní kí wọ́n jọ pé tí wọn ò bá lówó kọjá kí n transfer pé kí wọ́n bá mi lọ wo ọkọ mi ní exam hall pé bóyá wọ́n gba fóònù lọ́wọ́ wọn this and that pé wọ́n á ṣàmọ̀ bó ṣe débẹ̀ báyìí. Ó ní òun ò bá wọn ní exam hall. Wọ́n tún lọ wo script tí wọ́n ṣe ní Saturday. Wọn ò tún bá wọn ní ibẹ̀ bó ṣe pè mí nìyẹn pé àwọn ò rí wọn. So èmi àtàwọn ọmọ nínú ilé aṣábẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sunkún táwọn ará ilé náà pè bí àwọn grandma àti grandpa náà ti pè àwọn try nọ́mbà ọkọ mi pé kò lọ mú ní àkọ́ tèmi ti kó sí látàná ní ẹ̀ pé mi fẹ́ kó àyà wọn sókè so mi ní choice than kí n open up fún wọn. Ìgbà tí investigation bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí bàbá ọkọ mi ẹ̀gbọ́n ọkọ mi tí wọ́n lọ síbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn, wọ́n deny ní hotel yẹn ní Hilton hotel wípé kò ń ṣe ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ni ọkọ mi lodge sí. So fortunately mo rí receipt first hotel because òun náà ló jẹ́ hotel tó wà òkè jù ní Ifẹ̀. Mo wá snap ẹ̀ sọkọ ẹ̀gbọ́n ọkọ mi, òun ló fi ṣe investigation wọn ibi tí wọ́n ti mú receptionist yẹn dáadáa, òun ló wá jẹ́wọ́ fún wọn pé inú àkáǹtì òun ni pé àwọn ti fa receipt yẹn, àwọn ti fa ya pé room 0035 ni wọ́n fún ọkọ mi.
Mo believe àwọn ọlọ́pàá tó wà ní charge case yẹn because right from the beginning àjọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni àdẹ̀jọ parí ẹ̀ náà ni tàbí lọ resume òkú àbúrò mi àjọ everything ni jẹ́ pé two of the staff ló mú wa lọ àfà pẹ̀lú one other guy ló mú wa lọ síbẹ̀ inú àwọn mẹ́fà tá a kó yẹn àwọn ló lọ ṣó wa kébí táwọn sínsìn ìfà adérùn tí wọ́n fún right from the beginning tá a kọ́ lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n kọ́kọ́ sọ pé kò check-in sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn pé kò tiẹ̀ wá síbí rárá ṣé mọ̀ but through the help of the wife àti investigation yẹn lọ pé báwo lọmọ yìí ṣe rìn kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ náà bẹ̀ ó rìn wọ́n dẹ̀ pick ẹ̀ until Monday on the 8th I think ní fóònù yẹn tún rìn someone now pick the call ó ló ń wà lójúgbò Ọ̀ṣun state pé òun orí fóònù yẹn ni ok anna ti track fóònù yẹn a dẹ̀ track ẹ̀ níjọ́ Saturday gan tracking gbé pé níjọ́ Saturday ní fóònù ti déjìgbò àti ẹ̀zoom ẹ̀ àti ṣe autopsy result la expect let the results come out kàn wá sọ fún wa ká fèsì ara wa get àwọn ọmọ kò tó ṣẹlẹ̀ o gbàgbọ́ ní sọ́ọ̀sì now resume ẹ̀ arena gbàdé tó ń ṣe ẹfẹ́ autopsy wọ́n tún pé the family I was there láti sọ pé ṣé ìta resume ni wọ́n ń ṣe test fún mo dẹ̀ tún rí ìwà tó àmì náà dẹ̀ rí after the result of autopsy tó wá jáde sí the police now wọ́n wá charge kéèsì sílé ẹjọ́ èmi ò bẹ̀rù pé kéèsì yìí wọ́n á put it under the carpet I didn't believe in that ṣé mo èmi mọ̀ pé mo lè rò pé no matter the position of Adedoyin no matter nǹkan tó fẹ́ ní is not above the law èmi believe pé kò kọjá òfin kò dẹ̀ gájọ òfin lọ what we want on this issue is justice tí ó bá jẹ́ pé ó ti mọ̀ pé Adedoyin ti mọ̀ pé àwọn wà guilty kò ní go ahead láti send lawyer ẹ̀sẹ̀ mi pé I should have a roundtable meeting with them I should name my price in fact gbàtà lọ fún autopsy lọ́jọ́ Monday yẹn mo rò pé máa ń lọ́ọ̀yà Adédoyin wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn mo rò pé lọ́ọ̀yà yẹn ló máa wà ní bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn kan sọ pé lọ́ọ̀yà yẹn ò wá pé lọ́ọ̀yà yẹn ti sá lọ pé kò fẹ́ yọjú sí mi mọ́ bó ti mọ̀ pé mo ti tó àṣírí òun ìgbà tí wọ́n sọ pé ọmọ ẹ̀ Rahim òun ló lead àwọn undertaker tí wọ́n gbókò wọ́n lọ bẹ́ẹ̀rì ẹ̀ wọ́n yẹ kó declare Rahim ọmọ Adédoyin wanted we have some people outside there tẹ́kùn wọn ṣe nǹkan tó lè wọ́n á declare wanted ni ó jẹ́ ọmọ kẹta àmì third born inú family wa èmi second born èmi náà tún lẹ́gbọ̀n bẹ̀rù náà bí lèmi láti kékeré ẹ̀ ni ó jẹ́ èèyàn kan tó wà friendly tó wà generous tó wà jovial so nǹkan kan kiri lójú so dẹ̀ ní ẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run kò sí jájá ayé kan tó máa mú ti kiri ó dẹ̀ ń tọ́jú ilé ó dẹ̀ ń tọ́jú bàbá ó ń tọ́jú ìyá ó ń ṣe fárá ó ń ṣe fẹ́ bí ó ń ṣe fọ́ rẹ̀ òun náà ló kọ́ bíbá yìí ó dẹ̀ fa àwọn òbí ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ kó máa gbé bẹ́ẹ̀.
olóògbé Timothy ọmọ bíbí ló jẹ́ tó sì jẹ́ ọmọ tó gbọ́rọ̀ sí òbí lẹ́nu ló sì wà lára ẹ̀ títí tó fi dàgbà. ìgbà tí ọmọ bá kéré jẹ́ pé ó lè máa dáwọn ẹ̀rí pé àti ọmọ mi tí wọ́n bá dàgbà o tí wọ́n bá ń ṣeré àti àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ta bá lé oko torí iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni ìníyàn láàyè sí máa roko ọdún ilẹ̀ tí mo ní wọ́n sọ wọn pé òun roko mọ́. Timothy òun máa sọ yóò ní màmú òun ra mọ́tò fún màmú òun ní ìkẹ̀wé tó máa sọ fún mi ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò jẹ́ kó ṣe é fún mi. mo ní pa Timothy Adégòkè náà.
ìbéèrè tó dé ìlágbájá gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mọ̀ honestly gbogbo ìwé ni bàtà wà kékeré tó sì gbà tó sì dàgbà náà ìwé yìí náà ni. ìjọba wọn sì dájọ́ òdodo torí pé a rí pé hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì ẹ̀rọ̀mọ́nì wọn tó pa à ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìdájọ́ òdodo lọ́dọ̀ ìjọba.
ẹ dákun ẹ̀rìn wá lọ́wọ́ ẹ ṣàánú wa àwa tí ń tọ́jú pọ̀ èmi yìí ò ṣiṣẹ́ oṣù mi sì ń gbowó mi sì ń fi jẹun tọkàn mi ń balẹ̀ ọmọ aláàánú ni ní December ní ìsín gbogbo wa la ti ń mi tọ́ pé tó bá ti dé ní ìsín gbogbo ohun tí ó ṣe fún wa ó ti ń pín láyé yẹn.
ọ̀tán wọ́n tún wá mú ọwọ́ agbára wọ́n tún wá fi mú ọ kúrò lórí ilẹ̀ alààyè kíjọba jọ kí wọ́n ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ìdájọ́ òdodo gbọ́dọ̀ wà báyìí wọ́n ti ń sọ fún wa pé bóyá next year or next 2 years àwọn máa fly all of us kúrò ní Nàìjíríà pé ó máa kún àwọn nìkan ní ibi so àwọn school àwọn ọmọ náà dẹ̀ ní school tí wọ́n ń lọ l'Abuja ó jẹ́ school kan tó ṣe pé tó bá dẹ̀ ti parí pé tó bá ti parí primary 6 pé ká leave Nàìjíríà. Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ kí àwọn ìjọba kí wọ́n ṣe fún mi kí wọ́n fún mi ní iṣẹ́ tó lè jẹ́ kí n lè continue plan tọkọ mi ní fún àwọn ọmọ wọn nǹkan tí mò ń rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ sí so that mi ní fi certificate mi decorate ilé.